This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 90 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network. A variety show and a big announcement. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible. Equestrian Collections brings the whole universe of equestrian shopping to your fingertips. Visit them at equestriancollections.com. And the Barnworks, for all of your equine marketing needs. Visit them at thebarnworks.com.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They'll bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for the Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B. And you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
So good to have you back again, Helena.
Thank you. Did you miss me?
I missed you. Did you enjoy your time off?
No. No, I did. I'm kidding.
You missed me, though. That's why you had trouble. Yeah, see. Well, we have to thank Samantha for filling in the last couple of weeks as we were doing the shows down here in Kentucky. And we really appreciate her doing that. And she was a trooper to join us both weeks. And last week, you were off. We're going to talk a little bit about your vacation down to the horse capital of the South now, and that's Aiken, South Carolina.
Yes.
So we'll chat about that a little bit. And but we have some neat things planned for the show today. We have some housekeeping to do. Actually, it's going to be a bit of a variety show. We have to talk about a lot of things going on here at the Horse Radio Network. As everybody knows, the Stable Scoop show is the flagship show. It was the first show on the Horse Radio Network. So we tend to make our announcements about all the exciting things happening on the network first here on the Stable Scoop show. So we're going to be doing that today. We have a very exciting announcement that we helped kick off, but just nobody knew about it. So we're kind of excited to tell you about that. We also will speak with Kathleen Dodds and get an update on her cross-country adventure. If you remember right, Helena, a couple weeks ago we talked to her. She's leaving from Washington State and heading cross-country on her horse and with her dog, and she's going to ride the entire country, the entire United States. So we're going to get an update on her planning and how everything's going there, and we're also going to speak to her friend Mary Bengal as well about that. So we're excited to get an update from her because she leaves a week from today.
Brave woman. Woman.
So we'll see how she's doing. And then we also have a very special announcement that we'll get to in just 1 minute. But first, let's talk. You went to Aiken, and did you ride some horses?
Yeah, I did, if you want to call it riding. Yes, I did. I went, I got a little tip from a good friend about a horse that was wintering down in Aiken. And he was a polo pony who was looking to change careers. And when a good friend says, I think I found the perfect horse for you, well, you put your family in the car and, your 150-pound St. Bernard, and you drive 18 hours to South Carolina to try the horse.
With the St. Bernard in the car?
She was really good.
Really? Well, I hope so. 150 pounds, you don't want them to be bad. You especially don't want them throwing up the whole trip.
She was fabulous. My dog and my daughter are great travelers. And
Your husband is not?
No. No, you know what? We actually do really well in the car as a family because we don't get to spend that much time together without distractions. So it was really kind of nice family time, as crazy as that sounds. We're always up for an adventure. So anyway, we get to Aiken, and of course it's beautiful. I have a very close family in Columbia, South Carolina, which is just a hop and a skip from Aiken. So we hadn't seen them in about 4 years, and they have children Grace's age. So the cousins got to play. We got to experience summer. We went out boating. It was just a fabulous week's vacation. I kicked it off with a troubled start, though. The horse thing didn't work out.
Okay, so you didn't buy a horse.
Didn't buy a horse, no. But I did go to the warm-ups. There was a hunter jumper show that was taking place down there. And forgive me because I was so distracted, I can't remember the name of it. But I will tell you, the showgrounds were fabulous. It was so well organized. The rings were set up nicely. The horses there were beautiful. I mean, just absolutely amazing. The people were nice. It's a great place. If you're a horse person, you can't exist without Aiken. It's beautiful and friendly and warm.
So you liked Aiken?
Yeah, I did. I could never move there, though. I thought maybe I wanted to, but it was just too far from the ocean.
Yeah, you and your ocean thing.
You know what it is? One of the nice things that people say about Aiken is that the footing is soft and sandy, and it's so fine and it's so sandy and it's lovely, and it's really hot. And I'm driving around and I'm seeing all this sand and it's really hot and it's wonderful, and I'm thinking, but what's the point? Where's the ocean? You have sand and you have
We should tell everybody that you live, half a mile from the ocean right now where you are?
I do, yes.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
You could walk if you wanted to.
I think I was like, yeah. All I need to survive is a loaf of bread.
I think you're a mermaid and just are missing the fin.
No, I said all I need to survive is a loaf of bread and a salt lick. It must be the salt. But I think anybody who's not me would fall in love with Aiken and want to move there immediately.
Well, I'll tell you what, Aiken's a beautiful place, but I'll still take Lexington. Lexington still has it in my mind.
Well, that's the other thing is I've seen so many beautiful places. I mean, New England is just so hard to beat in terms of charm and livability. Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, if it wasn't so far from the ocean, I might pick Lexington over Aiken.
We have a lake not far.
Well, that's what Jennifer said. She goes, we have a big fountain.
Well, we missed you. I knew you were having a good time because I didn't even get a text from you last week. So,
I didn't even know. My phone was just, I didn't even know where it was.
That was great. And, I got to spend some time, obviously, at Rolex, and we had last week's Rolex show. We did have a great time at Rolex, despite the weather. It was typical spring weather in Kentucky, threatening tornadoes and everything else. But it was a lot of fun. We had a good time there. We recorded the last week's show from there, so that was kind of fun too. Speaking of last week's show, did you see the comment on Facebook from Robert Dunn?
I did. He missed me too.
Robert is one of our biggest fans. He listens to all the shows on the network, and we hear from him all the time. But he put a Facebook comment. Last week's show we did with Samantha, and we did with Courtney Young from 3 Days, 3 Ways blog, and we talked about the things around Rolex, the fashion and all that stuff, especially the fashion. We spent a lot of time on the fashion because that's what Courtney does. And Robert wrote, very fun show. It was great to get to hear more of Samantha and Glenn, but I think next year you should get Helena to Rolex. I think coverage of shopping done by Helena and Samantha would be very entertaining. So.
That would. I was there last year, and I spent a lot of time shopping. I did. I bought a beautiful hunt coat and drooled over the Durdow boots. So I think, but the Stable Scoop show was still in its infancy, so I don't think I was ready to report yet on the fashions. But I did do my homework. So Robert, I hear you loud and clear. I'm going to see what I can do for next year.
And you know what? We have speaking of shopping. That sort of ties into one of the very special announcements we have later.
It does?
Yeah, it sort of does, doesn't it? So we're looking, we'll keep everybody on pins and needles about that one. Then we got another voicemail, too, about episode number 88, the Adoption Fair and Molly the Pony episode that we did the week before from the Kentucky Horse Park that I did with Samantha. And we talked all about horse adoption, and it was a good show, I thought. Well, we got a voicemail from Lisa Malloy, who is from New Vocations Racehorse Adoption Program, and she was actually on that show. And I want to play the voicemail for you, Helena. You haven't heard this yet, but I think it was fantastic. Hold on, and I'll see if I can do this without breaking anything. Apparently I can't. Here we go.
Hi, Glenn and Samantha. This is Lisa Malloy with New Vocations in Lexington, Kentucky. You had featured us on the Stable Scoop show that you did from the horse adoption fair at the horse park. I was just calling to say thank you so much for featuring us. It was a great help. And we had a fantastic month. In April alone, I adopted 9 from the Lexington facility, and they adopted 13 from the Ohio facility. So we had a great month. I've got loads of new horses in, and they'll all be going up on our website soon. But I just wanted to thank you both so very much for publicising New Vocations and helping us with that. Thanks again. Bye.
Wasn't that great?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so apparently the show helped him out, and that's New Vocations Racehorse Adoption Program, and you can Google that and find it, and we'll put it in our show notes again. But it was so nice of Lisa to call in, and I'm glad they adopted out almost 20 horses, so that's terrific.
I had actually followed up on one of them, one of the horses that they had available.
Oh, really?
Yes, your wife sent it to me, and I got all excited, and I was ready to hop on a plane, and a nice family from, I think, Georgia had adopted him. But
well, good.
They had, I spent some time going through their website, and, I want to hear 30 more horses get adopted out.
Yeah, New Vocations, they seem to do a terrific job, and we're very impressed with their program. They have a very nice farm here, actually, in Lexington that they lease. So we're very excited about that, and we are very happy that we were able to help out, and any horse that we can help get adopted, we will be thrilled about that. So. And speaking of little horses,
teeny tiny.
Well, I'm sure everybody in the horse world's seen this. For the two of you that haven't, the world's smallest horse, they think, they have to verify that yet, was born up your way.
Yes, in New Hampshire. He's a little teeny tiny. He's a mini, and his name is Einstein. How cute is that?
I know. He's a pinto too, which is so cute. And he was born 6 pounds 14 inches tall.
They have a picture of him with a youngster, and he's smaller than this little toddler, and he's wicked cute.
Well, how big was your baby when she was born?
Oh, she was a big one. She was almost 9 pounds.
Well, she was like a gigantor compared to this one.
14 inches tall, a pinto colt, smallest horse on the planet.
And it was born in New Hampshire, and they're right now getting it verified, I guess. I guess the previous smallest horse, the record belonged to Tumbelina, which is a great name. A chestnut mare born in 2001 there in St. Louis, weighed 8.5 pounds. Well, that's huge compared to this one.
Yeah, no kidding. I think they say that the average mini baby stands about 21 inches tall at birth and about 18 pounds. So this is a teeny tiny, even for a mini, it's a teeny tiny baby.
Well, we're going to put a link. There's a cute video, and I don't know if you got to watch the video, but when the owner was scratching the little baby's butt and he was kicking up his back feet, that was the cutest thing ever.
It's beyond cute. I mean, even if you don't like horses, you can't deny that this is one of the cutest things you've ever seen. It makes me stumble in my words, and I get all hunched up. I don't know what to do with myself. He's so cute.
Well, we'll put that YouTube video in our show notes as well. It was adorable. It was truly adorable. So we wanted to mention that as well because Helene and I love this kind of stuff.
And he's got a little blanket.
I know. I think they must have used a dog blanket, a little like Schnauzer dog blanket, or even Jack Russell maybe, little tiny thing. Well, we're going to get to our big announcement that we have here in just a minute. But first, we want to talk about equestrian collections. You know, it's spring. It's that time of year and heading into summer now. It's getting a little warmer. And you're looking to replace your summer outfits that got a little ratty last year. We have the place for you, and that's equestriancollections.com. You want to stop over to Equestrian Collections, whether you're replacing the outfit for you or for your horse. They have it all over there, and they have some great specials going on right now for spring and summer. And as I said, you could just go to their website on their homepage. They have one of the best websites for finding stuff. It's all, they have a lot of links right there on their homepage, and their drop-down menus are terrific. So you'll find everything you need right there at Equestrian Collections. We say, Equestrian Collections has the whole universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford, and that's all very true. It's affordable. They have what you want. You said, Helena, you said a couple months ago when we were talking about Equestrian Collections that there's just no question. You just go there first. You look for it, you find it, you order it, and you're done.
Right.
And that's
it's there.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about Equestrian Collections. And they have the colors and the sizes and everything you're going to want. And, of course, Equestrian Collections started as 1824, which was the company that carried the larger sizes. So if you need a larger size in something, you can't find it at regular tack shops or your favorite tack store online, try Equestrian Collections. They probably have it. So check out equestriancollections.com for all of your horse and rider needs. Well, now it's time for our big announcement. And this has been waiting for 18 months. We started the Horse Radio Network, you and I, 18 months ago. Mm-hmm. We did the first show. We were terrible. Anybody wants any evidence of that, go back and listen to episode 1 of Stable Scoop. You can do that.
We were terrible.
Yeah, we were awful. It was bad. We don't.
We are terrible.
But you take a listen to that, and you'll see what we were like on our first episode, and then you'll realize how good these two are.
Oh, my gosh. League's better.
A couple of weeks ago, on episode number 84, we had two guests on, and we didn't tell them at the time, and we didn't tell our audience at the time, that they were actually doing an audition to be the new hosts of our newest show on the network. And I guarantee you we're going to get a lot of clapping from a lot of the Stable Scoop audience now, because a lot of them ride Western. Yes, it's the Western Radio Show. Our first Western show, called the Western Radio Show. You can find it at westernradioshow.com. And our hosts are none other than Alan Moorhead, who we had on that show on episode 84, and Jimmy K. Cox is her name. And we had them both on that episode, and we were so impressed, Alina, weren't we?
Yes, yes. Because we had other people in mind, and we had been listening in. And when Alan and Jimmy K came online, you and I, we were IMing each other behind the scenes. Remember?
Right. Yes, we were going. These guys are good. We stink.
They're so much better than us. They have
Let's
to
just let them do the show.
Yes,
we'll go eat lunch.
Great. And they're fun. They are as enthusiastic, I think, as we are. They love what they do as much as we do, and they are way, way more knowledgeable about the Western world. I mean, Jimmy K, president of the Rodeo Association.
Right.
Hello.
And then we have Alan Moorhead, who is one of the top announcers at rodeos and Western shows across the country.
Yep.
And he has a great, big, deep Western, which I can't do the Southern Western voice like he does. But boy, we've edited down now, and their first show is live at westernradioshow.com. We encourage you to go over there and take a listen. But I also recorded a little promo with them. It takes about 5 minutes, and I think everybody will be entertained by this, so take a listen. Hi, everyone. This is Glenn the Geek here, founder of the Horse Radio Network, and I am thrilled to announce a new show coming out on the Horse Radio Network, one of several new shows that will be coming out over the next number of weeks. And the first one coming out is the Western Radio Show. We have been doing this for 18 months, and for 18 months I've been getting emails from people in the Western world saying, when are you going to do the first Western show? You're doing all these English shows. Well, we're doing one now. And I'd love to introduce Alan Moorhead and Jimmy K. Cox, the hosts of the Western Radio Show. Hi, guys.
How you
doing? Hey, Glenn. How are you?
Good. And I want to tell everybody first that they can find the show at westernradioshow.com, or they can just go to horseradionetwork.com and find all our different shows. You are now the 7th show on the network, and I am so thrilled to have the two of you superstars of the Western world here on the Horse Radio Network.
No, she's the superstar.
I'm not, but I love the word. We can keep using it.
And did you say 7th?
You are the 7th show now, and we're actually 8 and 9 are coming out here shortly.
Well, I'm glad that we are 7 because I got to go to Vegas here in just a few weeks, and I feel lucky being the 7th show now.
I like that number too, Alan. It's a sign we're going to do well.
Well, I am so thrilled. You guys are so much fun. We had you on the Stable Scoop show a little while back, and we had so much fun. I said, we got to hire them and have them come on the network with us and do the Western show. Alan, tell us just a real Reader's Digest version of where you come from and why you're a superstar.
South Carolina.
There you go. And now Jimmy K?
Texas.
Alan is actually one of the finest announcers in the rodeo and Western world. And from what I hear, you're very popular in your announcing, and you certainly have the voice for it. By the way, you make me very jealous that way.
I shouldn't. I have been very fortunate in what I do, and I started kind of late. I've been around horses for a long, long time, and I was thinking at one time, Glenn, about going to a horseshoeing school and to have some work in the equine industry. And my
Your
dad
back
told me,
thanks you for not doing that.
Yeah. Oh shoot! Yeah, my feet.
You know,
too.
a wise man once told me, never let your back do what your mind can do for you. In your instance, it should be never let your back do what your mouth can do for you.
Somehow I knew that was coming. And that's basically what my dad told me. He was living at the time, and I lost him in '93, and I thank him every day for this, and I know he's listening to me up there in the great rodeo arena in heaven. He was a potato chip salesman, and he told me, because I used to work in radio, he said, son, I'd find a way to make a living with my voice if that's what I could do, and I was going to do something like that. And it's paid off. I went to Zoop Dove's announcing school years ago to learn some mechanics about rodeo announcing, have announced some cutting horse shows, pleasure horse shows, have been selected as the Women's Professional Rodeo Association announcer of the year twice.
That was because of your good looks, Alan. Had nothing to do with your voice.
It's because
I was there. I gave him the award. It was his
it's because I like barrel racing so much, and have twice announced at the International Finals Rodeo, and this will be my second year, 2010, to have been selected to be a voice for over 1,500 kids who are high schoolers that have achieved something that Jimmy Kay in her career has achieved as well, an invitation to the National High School Finals Rodeo this year in Gillette, Wyoming, and just tickled and feel blessed every day to be able to run my mouth and make a little money.
See, now you run your mouth, and Jimmy Kay actually does it on a horse.
Absolutely. And I mean, can run. She's got
I can run my mouth anywhere.
Jimmy Kay, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, there's not much to tell. I grew up ranching and rodeoing and on the racetrack, and was the president for a time of the Women's Professional Rodeo Association, which is the largest organized women's sporting association in the world.
Is it really?
And,
I didn't know that.
Yes, rodeo, been to the Texas Circuit Finals, and had been to the Women's World Finals, WPRA World Finals, and currently host a television show on RFD TV called Women's Pro Rodeo Today, which comes on Wednesday evening and Sunday mornings, and also on Thursday mornings. So keeps me pretty busy.
She's being a little humble, too, isn't she, Alan? Isn't she just like this great barrel racer?
Because, and one thing I'd like to interject right here, because as being a four-time announcer at the Women's World Finals Rodeo, and you mentioned, and we mentioned, Jimmy Kay running barrels as a barrel racer, she is also qualified and competed at the Women's World Finals Rodeo in the tie-down roping and the team roping. And I mean, the tie-down roping, that's calf rope. Yeah, she had to get off a horse and go down and flank the
That's like work.
Around and tie three legs together.
I was a wild card, and I got in it showing support for our association, and I took so long that I got the buzzer, which means that I took so long they finally blew the whistle and said, enough.
Get out of the ring.
Get out of the arena. We're tired of you.
And thing of it is she has got the heart of the big show in wrestling, but she's so petite and so small, and this calf just kind of, she did not let go. She hung on to the tail. This cat, and I think Jimmy Kay told me the next week that the cleaners refused to take those clothes that she was trying to turn in to get cleaned up.
That is not true. But my chiropractor did make a lot of money the next week.
Well, guys, this is going to be fantastic. If you want to hear more of the Western Radio Show and more of this kind of banter and some fantastic guests, as I understand it, you guys are going to be covering the wide world of Western, not just rodeo, not just showing, but pleasure riding and trail riding and anything that involves the Western lifestyle, right?
If it's done in the West and on a horse, we're going to cover it. And if it's done in the East and it's done on a horse and it's done with the Western way, we're going to cover it.
Well, that's great. We're looking forward to it. I'm so excited about this new show. Everybody can find it at westernradioshow.com. Take a listen to Alan and Jimmy Kay. And congratulations and welcome to the network.
Thank you. Good to be here. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Glenn, and I already feel like a part of the family.
You're such a suck-up.
Aren't they just as fun and as Southern as it gets?
I'm going to listen to the show.
You're going to love this show. It's just, I've actually heard the first two episodes now. The first one is live, and we recorded the second one, and they are just a joy. And the guests they had on, just love these two. And they're the first two guests they had on episode 2. By the way, I was the first guest on episode 1, so sorry, everybody. But episode 2 that's going to be coming out on Tuesday of next week, they had the top barrel racers in the country and their sisters, 5-time world champions. So, and these two just love Jimmy Kay and Alan, and they know each other. They just know everybody in that world.
Well, it is a very close-knit world.
And it's so much fun. It's very family-oriented. It's a very American Pie and family-oriented. And this show's just going to be a joy to listen to. It's so much fun. I encourage everybody to check it out at westernradioshow.com. It's now live. It'll be playing weekly. iTunes will be up shortly, so you'll be able to subscribe through iTunes like all the rest of the shows. So take
Do we know
a
what
listen.
day of the week it's going to be aired?
Tuesdays. It'll come out on Tuesdays. Yep.
Okay, great.
So
Great.
that's I'm very excited about it. I know you are too. And they said we could come play on their show sometime.
You know what? I really need to get a horse so that I can bring both my horses home, muck some stalls, and have a reason to listen to all our shows.
I know. See?
Honest to goodness. This is going to make me, this new show is going to make me find a horse.
Well, I'll tell you what, we did that show with them on episode number 84 about barrel racing and the Women's Professional Rodeo Association. And we had a guest on that show by the name of Brittany Posey, who, if you remember right, is the current world champion barrel racer. Mm-hmm. And she was delightful and fun and all of that. Remember, she was driving to a show at the time in her big fancy rig.
I do.
Because that's all they have is big fancy rigs. But she told Alan after the recording that she was very disappointed in her appearance on our show.
Why?
That's what I said. I said, why? She said it wasn't long enough. I was just starting to have a whole lot of fun.
Oh.
And she said they cut us off. We were having a great time, and we were. But the show, we were like an hour in already. And so she said, I had so much fun with all four of you. And so they said they would have her back on the Western radio show, and she'd be back. Of course, she's a world champion. She's going to be back.
She was a nice kid. She was a nice woman. I think everybody's a kid compared to me. But I would even like to have her back on Stable Scoop. I would too.
She was
terribly
fun.
impressed with her. Yeah.
I'm jealous now. To be honest
of the
with
Western
you.
radio show?
Yeah, I'm jealous. We're
but Glenn, we have Stable Scoop.
I know.
Our baby. we get
I'm just kidding a little bit there.
A little bit. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
Well, we do have, we're very excited about that, so check it out. We have another very big announcement about another new show coming up. But first, we want to get to talking to our friends, Kathleen Dodds, who was on episode number 87. She's the crazy woman going to be riding across the country on her horse, starting out in Oregon or Washington State, I forget which now. And then we also have our friend Mary Bengal, who was the one that referred us and told us about Kathleen and her journey. We're actually going to follow Kathleen as she makes her way across the country. She's setting out next Friday. She's going to start her journey. It's her dog, and her horse. And some supplies and hopefully
two cell phones.
2 cell phones and hopefully a big stick for the bears and lions. So we're going to be talking to them right now. Let's get them on the phone and hear how the preparations are going. We actually had some emails after that last interview. Some of our listeners were concerned that she's nuts. She didn't have it planned well enough and that she wasn't prepared. So we're going to talk to her about all of those things and find out if she's prepared and how the planning's come along in the last month. Well, hi, Mary and Kathleen, and welcome back to the show. Kathleen, we talked a couple of weeks ago about your plans to trek across the United States, so you and your horse and your dog. And we received a couple emails after that episode, and I believe, I'm taking a look here, I think that was episode number 87. It was about you riding cross country. And people can go back and take a listen to that episode. But we received a couple of emails after that, one thinking you were nuts, and 2, concerned that you maybe hadn't prepared enough for this trip, which is coming up a week from today. This is Friday. So tell us, I know you've come a long way in the last month with your preparations. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, basically we've got just about every single piece of equipment that I'm going to need for this trip purchased already. Last 2 odds and ends, which you always have right before you go. And I've got the first 20 days mapped out, like in great detail on topographical maps done for me. So we have a very, very detailed trip route with all sorts of entry and exit points just in case I need supplies. And my dad has actually taken that ball and just run with it.
Thank God for dads. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he's a little bit worried about this trip, too, although you told us in the last interview that your family was very adventurous, and your dad was, too. You told me he actually sailed the South Pacific for a while on his own boat. So obviously he's an adventurous kind of guy. So he's really taking the reins here and keep an eye on his little girl.
Oh, yeah. He is a really good planner, and he's really good into the intricate details of everything. Plus, he's a geotechnical engineer, so he makes sure he gets out there and puts me in the safest possible routes he possibly can, where I have access to people, and there's, roads where people can get in to get me if they have to, and bring supplies to me and my horse if they have to. So, it's the trip that he's laid out for me is actually pretty impressive, that he has managed to put me on the safest possible route you can for a cross-country horse trip.
And you are going. You're still beginning, and you're still doing the Oregon Trail, right?
Right. Well, you can't actually ride the Oregon Trail because the trail itself runs down the highway. So what he's done is he's put me within 20 miles of the Oregon Trail on back roads and logging roads and four-wheel drive tracks and places where the trail actually runs through people's private land where we have to get permission to cross. But yeah, he's done a really good job of, I get little tiny towns every 2 to 4 days, and it's odd because I went and checked the cell phone coverage maps, and I have cell phone coverage just about every single place that I go.
Wow.
Can call that.
That's better than over here in the East. What are you doing?
Yeah, no kidding. It's better than here in Rhode Island.
The biggest problem I have for cell phone coverage is coming into Nebraska, which I thought was interesting because, it's a pretty open, flat state.
Yeah, just not a lot of cell phone towers in amongst of all the corn there.
How are you going to keep your battery charged?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Actually, solar charger. They make little solar chargers, and that will charge my cell phone, my camera, and my iPod.
Oh, my God, you're awesome.
Oh, so you are bringing your iPod? Are you bringing some books on tape or something along to listen to?
Actually, no, but my friend Mary is actually loading up my iPod for me with my trip theme music. So, yes, we'll have the iPod with hundreds of hours of play of music.
Well, Mary's on the phone here, too. Mary, you were how we heard about Kathleen in the first place, and we've been chatting for quite a while now. What do you think of your good friend here, and your instructor, for that matter? What do you think of her adventure?
I think it's awesome because Kathleen is doing something we would all love to do, but we don't have the guts to do it, so we're going to live through her and just watch her do it. But because she's our good friend, we just want to make sure that she is safe and sort of set up a safety net and then watch from a distance. So if she needs us, we can swoop down and give her what she needs and then, run away and then watch as she moves along. And then if she needs us, swoop down again and then kind of be those guardian angels watching from above. And we're just totally excited for her. And actually, my husband, Jay, is the one who initially contacted you. He's like the best horse husband ever, I think, because he's kind of the dream maker, for everybody. And when he heard about Kathleen's trip, and he knows I listen to your show constantly. I'm like obsessed with it. And so he
we like that.
contacted
Thank you, Mary.
Yes. Oh, you're welcome. Well, like at 5 a.m., I was listening to your latest episode of Stable Scoop this morning. But he contacted you and thought, this would be a great way to maybe help Kathleen along on her trip. And I think she is just fantastic. And if anybody can do this trip, Kathleen can do it because she knows horses. She's tough as nails, and she is the bravest person I've ever met. She's like John Wayne in a dress. She's just amazing.
And you have to also remember that it takes a fair amount of faith, which I think whatever you have faith in, sometimes it's nice to root for somebody who has faith in themselves and faith in their horse.
Yeah.
Which I think, Helena, that you don't know, there has been a change on that front, hasn't there, Kathleen?
Strip's not going?
No, unfortunately, there was an accident where she was in a lesson with one of my students and she fell. And when she did, she had a pretty serious injury. She ruptured her peroneus tertiary tendon in her back leg. So she is on 4 months solid stall rest.
Oh.
And she should make a full recovery.
Arabs love stall rest, too.
Oh,
so she's
already pretty mad at me.
So she'll be watching you from satellite TV.
We'll put a TV in her stall. A big screen TV on the back wall, and she'll be able to, link in to me. And nobody else gets a feed except for my horse.
So what horse are you taking then?
Actually, I'm taking Mystic, which is a horse that I was planning on taking as a pack horse. And she's been with my program for 4 years, and I've done some of the initial training on her. So this summer, she's actually going to end up being fairly well trained by the time we get where we're going.
So what? Tell us about Mystic then.
Mystic is a 12-year-old Appaloosa mare. She's tough as nails. She actually is my guaranteed beginning low jumper champion horse. She's probably taken more championships than any other horse in our barn. And if you just get her in the arena and point her at a fence, she'll go over it. And she's quick and agile, so she's capable of winning stuff in a class. But she's just this sassy little appy mare who just never gives up about anything. And we get along pretty well, so I think
that sounds like it. Helena.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah, I see.
They're both sassy. Yeah, they're
I'm starting to see but a collection of not one. Well, you had one, but not one, but two horses that you could count on to do this trip. I'm starting to think that says a lot about you as a horsewoman.
Yeah, well, thank you. I have to thank my friend Bridget, because this is my friend Bridget's horse. And, you know, when I called her and told her that my horse was hurt, and then she says, well, you're just going to ride Mystic across the country because you have to do this trip. So I'm riding Mystic across country, so we will have a good time.
So you won't have a pack horse along?
I will not have a pack horse along, which means that's why my dad changed my route so that I would hit towns very close together, and because I can't take as many supplies with me. I'm only going to take 5 days at a time, and I hit towns every 2 to 4. And I want to make sure that, you know, the horse, this trip's priority is the horse, the dog, and then me. You know, everything about this trip is planned around that horse's safety and well-being. You know, if I have to stop someplace and feed her up for 3 days, I will stop someplace and feed her up for 3 days. Anytime she's at all, you know, looks like she's not at 100%, we're going to pull into the next town. I'm going to get a vet in there, and I'm going to have to make sure that she's tip-top. You know, the same thing with the dog. If the dog gets sore, we're stopping for a couple of days and letting him rest up. Me, I'm fine. I'll keep going.
You know, we got to remember too. People used to do this all the time. This was back 150 years ago. This was how we got around. I think we forget that sometimes.
I think people do, because I've talked to my vet. I've talked to my horse chiropractor. I've talked to other experts in the area, and they're all I'm like, well, what do I need to bring in for food? And they're all, well, basically, as long as your horse's weight is up, graze him in the morning, graze him in the afternoon, graze them at night. That's what they do. They travel all day long and they eat, throughout the day. So as long as her weight stays up, she's eating grass. If her weight starts to drop, we will stop in the town and put her in a fairgrounds for a couple of days and feed her hay and grain.
And it sounds like your dad has your back here. So
he does. And I have a sister who's like sneaking around behind me because they all know that, I do things my way and I'm very, very strong about it. And they're planning, emergency space drops with my friends if they have to.
Right, exactly. We're at a distance, kind of waiting in the wings, but we're not going to get in their way.
Right. This sounds
I don't think you should, to be honest with you.
No. Yeah, we're not worried about Kathleen. We're more worried about the bears who might come across her path. They don't stand a chance, basically.
Now, Kathleen, are you feeling excited? Are you eager to go? Are you giddy? What are you feeling?
Pretty much all of them. You should see my house right now. It's in a complete and total shambles because I'm in the process of going through everything and packing it up and separating the stuff I'm getting rid of, and it looks like a bomb went off in here. Because half the stuff that I'm taking is placed in places, it's partially packed, and I keep wanting to pack everything up. But if I do that, it's like, okay, well, I'm leaving.
As I understand it, you have a couple lessons to do yet.
Oh, yeah, I'm teaching up until next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, my last day to teach. So, yeah, my students are starting to get the normal crazy me teaching, which means there's lots of laughing and yelling at them, which there was before, but now it's taken on a whole new twist. So
now you're
happy and nervous.
You're planning to leave on May 14th, which is a week from today, and so you're going to roll out on a Friday. And then head down the trail. Now we plan on keeping in touch with you. We're hoping to maybe we can set up a certain day every week where you try and call in so we can just record a little update and keep everybody informed of the progress and how you're doing. I think it's very exciting. I think that I hope that speaking to both of you today has alleviated some of our listeners' concerns. And I don't think they were being nosy or anything like that. They were just concerned. And I'm sure that a lot of your friends are, because you actually have a blog now. And tell everybody the name of your blog.
Well, the name of the blog is You Might Think This Is Crazy.blogspot.com.
There you go.
The expressions on people's faces when I tell them I'm going on this trip. I say, look, I'm going to ride a horse across country. And they're like, really? And people are going to follow you and you're going to go stay at a hotel every night? And I'm like, no, I'm camping the entire way. And then there's this brief pause where they all have this look that goes across their face so that you can see that they're on the verge going, dear Lord, woman, what is wrong with you? And then they're all like, that is so cool, because they remember who they're talking to.
Kathleen, except for the gal at the restaurant who thought it was nice, and what kind of horse did you have? Remember?
Yeah,
oh, that's nice. What kind of horse do you have?
The most underwhelming response in the world. I tell this lady at the restaurant that, we're doing this because my friend told me I had to. And she looks at me and she goes, oh, honey, that's nice, and walks off. And then 5 minutes later, she comes back and she says, oh, and what kind of horse will be riding across country? And I tell her, and she goes, oh, that's really sweet, and walks off again. Nothing. It was like, wow. She was
Maybe
not
she was
impressed.
a skydiver or something that didn't use a parachute, so she just wasn't impressed.
Okay, so
And
I have a
ask for
question.
help.
I have a silly question for you. So because, Helena always accuses me of going back to food, but I do always go back to food. So what kind of food are you bringing for you?
Well, for me, actually, I'm going to bring dehydrated meals for several days at a time. But I'm making jerky this week, and I'm bringing like those really nice, healthy nut seed bars and a couple other little snacky stuff. And then every time I swing into a town, I'm going to eat.
Yeah, I was going to say, what food will you miss the most?
I love a good steak. So it's like I can't take a cow, and hold still, cow. I can't pack meat on the trip with me, so I'll miss that because I'm a big carnivore.
Well,
But,
so the burgers at the little towns are going to taste pretty good.
Oh, I bet they are, in the pot roast. Oh.
Look, she's thinking about it already.
Yankee pot roast. Well, this is terrific. I had the vision when I heard you weren't bringing a pack horse of your dog just weighted down with packs.
Will he have
Yeah,
a job
no.
other than keeping you company?
I think his job's going to be protecting her from the bears and the lions.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, I love my dog to death, and he absolutely would be miserable if he didn't come on this trip. So right now, he's just coming on this trip to be with me.
What kind of
If
dog,
he wants
too?
to do anything else. It's a healer.
Look at the picture
Australian
of him
Cattle dog.
on her blog. It captures him. It totally captures him.
Oh, yeah, he'd scare away he could keep you
I don't know
company.
this dog from Adam, but when you look at his face in this picture, you can see
With
how
the
she's
snow
playing.
there and the picture on the blog?
He's like, when are we going? When are we going? Are we going now?
That picture, I'm dying laughing because the horse was being so mean because she kept turning around and touching him. And every time he would do that, he'd try to lunge at her and bite her. And so I'm holding on to him, she won't bite her. And then I'd tell him no, and she'd pull back a few inches. And then when I turned to smile at the camera, she would turn around and poke him again. Every time she poked him, he'd try and bite her.
Well, I hope you're going to take lots of pictures. I think one of the most fascinating things, actually, about this trip, I realize you're going to be having a lot of solitude, but I think it's going to be the interesting people that you meet along the way is going to turn out in the end to be one of the most fascinating things that happens.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what I'm really looking forward to is this country is a beautiful, beautiful country, and it's full of amazing people, and I'm really looking forward to going out and seeing the country and talking to all the really cool people. And it ought to be just a wonderful experience for me.
Well, Mary, you're going to help us keep track of her along the way, aren't you?
Yes, I'd love to.
And so on the air in front, tens of thousands of people here around the world, what would you like? What warning would you give Kathleen about this trip, knowing her very well?
Well, we're kind of like Team Kathleen at this point, and we're all just going to join in and do everything we can to, like Kathleen said, her trip's really well planned out right now. And I think just keeping our connections going from state to state to state, and we all know so many people that as we connect, we ought to be able to provide everything that she might need between here and the end of the trail, and then from there to the East Coast. And I think, thankfully for technology, she can get a hold of us at the drop of a hat, and we can provide whatever Mystic or Solo or Kathleen may need, and it should be a very doable trip.
Well, I have one piece of advice from other adventures that I've followed, and that is to bring a second cell phone. Bring two along, because you guaranteed you're going to drop this one in the first stream you go past. And I'm just saying that this stuff happens, and
Or in the toilet in the first restroom.
Yes.
Restroom, you're having that nice burger.
I've done that.
it's going to be ketchup all over it, So definitely bring a second cell phone. I think that's a good piece of advice. Well, I'll tell you what.
Getting one new one.
We wish you the best of luck. I don't think we're going to talk to you now before you head out. So, we wish you the best of luck on starting your journey, and we'll catch up with you hopefully at the end of the first week there, and try and get an update from you for everybody, because I'm sure everybody's going to be on pins and needles wondering what's happening and where you're at.
Yeah, well, that's like check in every night with my dad to let him mark on the map how far I've gotten and if I've made the camp.
I'll have to make sure you give your dad our number, and I'll have to make sure I get it from you as well.
Okay.
And we're going to put a link up to your blog on our website. You might think this is crazy.blogspot.com.
And we'll also, as you get past Kentucky, Ohio, I'm not sure how your trip's going to take you, but we're going to make sure to meet up with you as you get over our way.
Well, that would be awesome.
I'll buy you a steak.
Oh, thank you. I already like.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, and good luck, Kathleen.
Best wishes.
Thank you.
Happy trails.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I don't know about you, Helena, but I have a little more confidence now.
Oh, way more confident. Well, I had confidence before because she sounded confident. I had a lot of questions.
Right.
And those are mostly answered now. And it's funny that, I feel badly that Strip won't be able to make the trip with her,
right.
But it sounds like Mystic. That's the other horse's name, right? Mystic.
Right. Mystic is the
is the perfect understudy.
Right. And actually, I know that Arabs are made for long distances, but it sounds like Mystic is a more sturdy horse.
And Appies, they think they can do anything, so therefore they can.
Right, exactly. So I think this might be a good combination, and we're looking forward to following her on her journeys. We're going to try and get her on as best we can with her cell phone reception. Every week, we're going to try and do at least a little 5 minutes with her to get updated, or longer if she's had traumatic encounters with bears and coyotes and things. It sounds like that's the one thing that does concern her a little bit. Although this woman seems inflappable. She's a lot braver than I am.
I'd be more concerned with traumatic experiences with human beings.
Well, that's true too. But she sounds like she can take care of herself pretty well.
Yeah.
She's got that dog. I think that dog's probably a good protector dog too.
Oh, he's cute. Take a look at that picture on her blog. Every once in a while, you get a photograph of that. It just really captures the essence of a creature, and this photo gets that dog's face, man.
Yes, it does. Well, tell us, we're looking forward to that, and we'll be keeping an eye on that. And we have our big announcement. Helena and I are making a big announcement right after these words from the Barnworks.
Dun, dun, dun.
If you own a horse business of any kind, wholesale, retail, a stable, a training business, or you're a professional rider and need a new website, then it's time for you to call the Barnworks. The Barnworks will update that website of yours into the 21st century. Websites need updated every 2 to 3 years. How long has it been since you did yours? Speak to the Barnworks before you commit to anyone else. That is thebarnworks.com for all your website development needs. Well, thank you to the Barnworks for their continued support of the Stable Scoop radio show. Helena!
Yes!
Now we have our big announcement.
We have it. Here it comes.
So if everybody could not get enough of the both of us already, we're doing a new show.
We are doing, can I say it?
Yes, you can.
I love it because I came up with the name.
Yes, you did.
It's
and the logo. You came up with the logo, too.
The name and the logo. Well, the logo says it all.
Oh, it's cute as a Dickens.
The new show is called The Tack and Habit Show. And it's going to be a short, 15 to 20 minute segment or podcast. And it's going to be all about tack and riding habits. Glenn and I are going to talk about what's new, what's great, what's not so great in the world of riding gear and equipment and clothing and strap goods and gizmos and gadgets.
We should tell everybody that we are qualified to do this show because we both have a long past in equestrian retail.
Yes.
I owned my own tack shop. You did as well. And then I worked for Bit of Britain for a while and a number of
other...
And
I did as well.
Yes, you did as well. So a number of other places. I was the founder of a site that a lot of people visit and that you still help with. And that's tackoftheday.com.
Tack of the Day, yes.
So I was the founder of that, did that for 2 years, handed that off to you, and you still do that. So we are just looking forward to this. We know a little bit about tack, and we know what we like and don't like, and we certainly are opinionated. So what this show, what we're thinking it's going to be, and I think it will evolve as we go along, is it's not really going to be a review show because we're not necessarily trying all these products.
Right, we couldn't.
We're going to talk about the products. We're going to make fun of them where needed. We're going to praise them where needed. And, we're just going to discuss them. And what we're hoping to do is discuss 2 fairly new products to the market every week. It'll be a short show, 15, 20 minutes, unless we get blabbing. And then the first product we're just going to talk about and mention it and talk about what it is and, tell people where they can find it and stuff. And then the second product, we actually want to have the manufacturer or a representative of the company on to talk with us about it. But we're not going to pull any punches, are we?
No. This is not going to be No, we're going to really try hard to be honest. Well, that's not that hard for us to do.
No, because we pretty much say our mind.
Yeah, we do.
Anybody who's listened to us for the last 80, 90 episodes knows that. So
if we think something's stupid, we're going to say it's stupid.
This should be a very entertaining show. We're looking at it as entertainment. We're doing it for our enjoyment, and we're hoping you enjoy it too.
And there are some really cool things that are out there, and there's some things that people are just that are good conversation starters.
Right.
Just cool things. And there are things too, I think that one of the things I'm really looking forward to is seeking out and talking about items in particular that can help make a barn owner's life easier. Things that cut down the time and the energy it takes to get your job done so that you can enjoy your horse more. That's a big thing with me. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to discover some things out there that can help save time and energy.
And we are currently working, I can't make this announcement yet, we'll make it on the Tack and Habit Show. We're currently working with some very influential partners in the tack world and the retail world that we're hoping will sign on with us and carry the show. So it should add a whole different element to it with them on board too.
Because we horse people like to shop.
Yes, we do.
That's not a secret.
No, and I think you're the king of or the queen actually of all the shoppers that I know. So
no, your wife can.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is true. Our credit card does show that. So we're looking forward to that. Next week's show, what we'll do on next week's show is we'll have a regular Stable Scoop show, but what we're going to do is insert the first Tack and Habit show in it, and it'll even be before Tack and Habit is live. You'll hear it first here on the Stable Scoop show. So our Stable Scoop listeners will hear it even before it goes live at tackandhabit.com. We're going to have to learn to say that quickly because
Tack and Habit.
Yeah,
Tack
that really gets tricky for me.
Tack and Habit.
So it's going to be. It's not there yet. It's going to be tackandhabit.com, and you'll hear the first episode here next week on the Stable Scoop show. We'll just insert it in the middle.
You know what's we're going to have lots of bloopers for that show because we're going to be together talking, and we're going to forget which show we're on.
I know. That's true. It's true. And if anybody doesn't realize, you can listen to the end of every Stable Scoop show after the music, and you'll hear our bloopers. And we'll probably do the same thing for Tack and Habit because I guarantee we're going to have some.
Yeah, because I'm on it.
And I think that one of the requirements before we record Tack and Habit every week is we're going to have wine in hand because that's just...
I have a little girl. I can't. You have wine in hand. There's me waiting for the bus to come. A bag of wine in one hand and my microphone in the other. I'm working. The Mother of the Year award goes to Helena B. I don't think so, Glenn. How about just some Ben & Jerry's?
Okay, there we go. I like that too. Well, you can find the show notes for today's show and all the links to Kathleen and her journeys and her blog, and you can find the links to the new Western radio show and bios on our new co-hosts over there, Alan and Jimmy K. I love saying the name Jimmy K. Isn't that a fun name to say? And she spells it Jymmy.
Cute.
So it's all Y's, and that's what she says. It's Jimmy K with no I's, all Y's.
Oh.
So there you go. Oh, and she says it with that nice Texas drawl. So.
I know. I like listening to her. She's a nice voice, very authoritative.
Yes.
But it has this nice ringing sound to it.
And she has a little bite too. She can be a Texas, little Texas girl too.
Yeah, I think really.
She gets a little snarky with Alan at times. So.
A woman after my own heart.
Yes, like you did with me.
You know, I really am looking forward. I think our listeners, even if you're not a Western rider, I think it'll be a show to enjoy simply because your hosts are so knowledgeable and friendly, and they're nice to listen to. So, give it a try.
All right, and you can find, again, all of our show notes at stablescoop.com. You can give us feedback on our contact link on our website. You can follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio and Helena at
Helena_BEE.
And we thank the Barnworks and Equestrian Collections for their sponsorship of the Stable Scoop radio show. And be sure, now that this is going to be the 7th new show, the Western radio show, and then the 8th new show on the network is Tack and Habit. And one of the places that you can find all the shows, you don't have to go to the individual websites, you can actually go to horseradionetwork.com and find all the shows in one place. So you can find them all over there. And we encourage you to listen to them all. There's more than, 8 hours in a week. So that gives you plenty of time to listen to all the shows.
There's more than 8 hours in a week. I had to do the math in my head.
I'll help you, Helena.
Thank you.
Well, let's wrap this show up because, it's just time for me to eat lunch because I got hungry talking about food.
Again, it's all about the food.
Well, we'll be back next week
with the scoop.
It's going to be the Tack and Habit Scoop, actually, you know? It's going to be the Tack Scoop.
The Tack and Habit Scoop.
The Habit Scoop?
The Habit Scoop.
Scoop about habits? No, that's a different thing, isn't it?
We'll have to come up with something.
Yeah.
We'll have to come up with a show closer.
All right. Yeah, we will definitely have to come up with a new show closer for that show because we do it so well on this one.
I don't like this one anymore.
Talk to you next week, Alina.
All right, bye. It's a variety show, and we have a big announcement. Please support our split.
Blooper
Cut.
one.
Cut. This is why I don't do the intros.